Good day everyone, this is Teacher Madeha and today we're going to discuss about the inverse of a matrix or the inverse of matrices. Now, ano nga ba ang inverse of a matrix? Inverse of a matrix says that if A and B are square matrices of order n and such that A times B is equal to B times A and that is equal to I or the identity matrix, then A can be called the inverse of B. That is, A equals the inverse of B, that's denoted by B raised to negative 1. Or it can be the inverse of A. That is, B is equal to the inverse of A. Bakit nga ba natin nasabi na A times B is equal to B times A and that's equal to identity matrix? Now, later on, mas ginagamit kasi ito when we check whether the given inverse of a matrix is actually the inverse of the given matrix. Because when we multiply the given matrix by the inverse of that given matrix is equal to the identity matrix. Right? Now, there are three methods in finding the inverse of a matrix. We have the Montaigne's method or the Bayes algorithm, the Gauss-Jordan elimination, and the adjugate matrix. Ang adjugate matrix natin involves determinants. Hindi pa naman tayo nakapag-discuss ng determinants, so we're not going to use this yet. What we are going to focus here, ang method na gagamitin natin ay ang Gauss-Jordan elimination. Okay? Because yan yung naituro natin at nagamit natin when we discuss the topic about solving systems of linear equations. So basically, in Gauss-Jordan elimination, we're going to involve the arrow, okay? Or the elementary row operations, right? So let's have some examples. Let's start with a 2x2 matrix. Kasi mas madali si 2x2 matrix, and then later on, we're going to have the 3x3 matrix. Okay, let's say we have A equals, we have 7, 2, 17, and 5. Now, take note that this also represents 7 as A, 2 is B, and 17 is C, and 5 is D. So, bakit ginawa natin yan? It's because in finding the inverse of a 2x2 matrix, we're going to use this rule or parang formula. So, let's solve this using the formula. A or the inverse of A or A raised to negative 1 is equal to 1 over the product of A and D minus the product of B and C. And then, multiply them by D, negative B, negative C, and A. Okay, so parang pinagpalit lang si D dito at saka si A. Okay? And then, dito naman, we get the additive inverse. So, yung sign dito is positive, we took the negative. Also yung C. So, yun lang naman. This is the rule or parang formula in finding the matrix of, again, a 2x2 matrix. Okay, para siya sa 2x2 matrix. Now, representing, we have the inverse of A or matrix A is equal to 1 over A, of course, is 7. So, that's 7 times D is 5. So, 7 times 5. Then, minus 2. Ito. We have B is 2. And then, we have C is 17. Okay, so times 17. Right, then times square matrix, of course, D is 5. So, D is 5. And then, we have B is positive 2, then it will become negative. So that's negative 2. And then yung C is 17, so that will become negative 17. Then, yung A natin is, of course, 7. So that is equal to 7. Okay. Next, given that, we have to multiply them. We have 1 over 7 times 5, of course, is 35. Minus 17 times 2 is 34. Then, times 5, negative 2, negative 17, and 7. So, we have, this is 1 over 1, or just 1. So, what we have will be 5, negative 2, 17, and 7. Ito na. This is already the inverse of matrix A, which is 7, 2, 17, 5. So, ano yung inverse niya? We have 5, negative 2, negative 17. This is actually negative 17. And then positive 7. Okay? So, this is the inverse. Now, how can we be sure na yung nakuha natin is actually the inverse of that matrix? So, to check, para ma-check natin, we have to multiply, sabi ko ba kanina, we have to multiply the given matrix A, di ba, by its inverse. Yung inverse niya nakuha natin, and that must be equal to the identity matrix. Okay, since it's 2 by 2, so the identity matrix of a 2 by 2. Ano nga ba yung identity matrix ng isang 2 by 2? So, 1, 0, 0, 1. So, ito dapat ang maging product when we multiply the given matrix kanina at yung inverse niya. So, tingnan natin, ano nga ba yung given natin? Balikan natin. We have the given matrix as 7, 2, 17, 5. So, sulat natin dito, we have 7, 2, 17, then 5. Okay, multiply this by its inverse na nakuha natin kanina. Ano yung inverse natin? We have 5, negative 2, negative 17, and 7. So, let's multiply them. We have 5, negative 2, negative 17, and positive 7. So, multiplying this, of course, we're going to apply what we have learned last time about the multiplication of a matrix or matrices. Okay, so multiplying this, we have this row here to column here, or first column. So, we have 7 times, we have 5, then plus 2 times negative 17. Okay? Then, next naman ulit, we have 7 times, next column tayo, but same row, we have times negative 2 plus 2 times 7. Right? Then, next row tayo, we have 17 times first column, we have 5, then plus 5 times negative 17. Then we have 17 times negative 2 plus 5 times positive 7. Okay, so let's see. We have 7 times 5, of course, is 35 minus plus, that's negative 34. Okay, then 7 times negative 2 is negative 14 plus 14. Then we have 17 times 5 is 85. Okay, then plus negative 5 times 17 is also 85. So, that's negative 85. Then, we have here, that's negative 34. Then, plus 35. Okay, of course, when we add this, this means subtraction. So, 35 minus 34 is just 1. And then 14, negative 14 plus 14, of course, that's 0. Then 85, that means subtraction. 85 minus 85 is 0. Then negative 34 plus 35, that means subtraction, that is equal to positive 1. So this is already the identity matrix of a 2 by 2 matrix. Okay, so therefore, nakapunta tayo sa identity matrix na 2 by 2. Therefore, yung inverse natin, which is 5, negative 2, negative 17, and 7 is correct. This is actually the inverse of matrix A. Okay, so na-check natin yun, that is correct. So remember, when we check whether the given or whether the inverse, nakuha natin na inverse of the given matrix ay tama, ma-check natin yan if we multiply that inverse of the given matrix doon din sa given matrix. Ang sagot niya, ang product niya must be the identity matrix. Okay? Right. So next, let's have another example. Let's say we have matrix B is equal to 8, 6, 5, 4. Okay? So let's find the inverse of this. So the inverse of this is equal to 1 over A times D minus B times C times, we have D, negative B, negative C, positive A. Okay. Remember, this is A, this is B, this is C, and this is D. Okay, so we have A is 8 times D is 4 minus B is 6 times 5, okay, which is C, then times D is 4, then negative B, that's negative 6, then this is negative 5, and this is A is 8. Okay, so next we have 1 over A times 4 is 32 minus 6 times 5 is 30. So this means we have 1 over 2. Okay, then dito naman we have 4, negative 6, negative 5, positive 8. So then we multiply 4, negative 6, negative 5, and 8 by 1/2. So ano na ito? This is scalar multiplication. So the inverse now of matrix B is equal to 1/2 times 4 is just equal to 2. Okay? Then 1/2 of negative 6 is of course negative 3. And 1/2 of negative 5 is negative 5 over 2. Then 1/2 times 8 is equal to positive 4. So this is now the matrix or the inverse of matrix B. So ano yung matrix or ano yung inverse ng matrix B? We have 2, negative 3, negative 5 halves, then positive 4. Right? So let's check again whether our answer is correct. So to check, we have the matrix B times its inverse must be equal to the identity matrix. So let's try. Matrix B natin, we have 8, 6, 5, 4. Then multiply this by its inverse. We have 2, negative 3, negative 5 over 2, then 4. Okay, so multiplying this, we have 8 times 2 plus 6 times negative 5 over 2. Then we have 8 times negative 3 plus 6 times positive 4. Then, we have 5 times 2. Then, plus 4 times negative 5 over 2. Then, we have 5 times negative 3 plus 4 times positive 4. Okay, so we have 8 times 2 is, of course, that's 16. Then, this will become negative, so minus tayo. So, cancel natin. This will be 3. So, that will only be 3 times 5 is 15. Then, 8 times negative 3 is negative 24. Plus 6 times 4 is 24. Then, 5 times 2 is 10. This is negative, so subtraction. So, that will become also negative. So, this will be cancelled. This will be 2. So, that's negative 10. So, that's 10. Then, 5 times negative 3 is negative 15. Then, plus 4 times 4 is 16. Okay? So, this is equal to 16 minus 15, of course, is 1. Negative 24 plus 24 is 0. 10 minus 10 is 0. Then, negative 15 plus 16 is, of course, 1. Okay, so we have come up with an identity matrix of a 2 by 2 matrix. So therefore, yung nakuha natin na inverse of matrix B, which is 2, negative 3, then negative 5 over 2, and 4, is actually the inverse of matrix B. Okay, so this is correct. Alright, so if you have questions, you can just type in your questions in the comment box.